which is court, the third pillar of the CGS, which is court. This is very important for us to know what would be the role of the court in terms of criminal proceedings. So as you can see here in our activity, the court plays a dual role in Philippine criminal justice system as participants and supervisors of the latter's process and decision. Court is the governmental body officially assembled under authority of law at the appropriate time and place for the administration of justice through which the state enforces its sovereign rights and power. So if we could say that the proper venue or the proper place to administer, or shall we say conduct trials, is court. Okay, so we have different courts. So later I will demonstrate to you how it goes. Then we have here the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is the authority to hear and determine a cause. So when we say jurisdiction, when we say if there is a crime committed, so where would be the jurisdiction over the case? So the jurisdiction is the place itself, or the location or the site itself where the crime committed. So meaning to say, ang jurisdiction naa sa lugar kung aha nahitabo ang crime. Okay? So, where did you going to file the case? Asa man nimo i-file ang kaso? For example, the crime committed here in Upper Maluro, Tangub City. So where are you going to file the case? Of course, we have the Regional Trial Court in Tangub City. So you are going to file your case in the place kung aha gyud nahitabo. But there are instances, for example, in Mahayag, Josefina, Dumingag, ang ilahang court is naa sa Mulave. So we are going to call that as MCTC or Municipal Circuit Trial Court because tanang cases nga naa sa Mahayag, Josefina, Dumingag, dito man siya i-try sa Mulave. Okay? So we are talking about the jurisdiction. So kung unsay na ang korte ana nga place, so dito nimo na siya i-file. And of course, the venue. The venue is the site or location where the case is to be tried on the merits. So same lang gihapon siya. Si jurisdiction is the connection to venue, because si venue is the site or location, same lang gihapon siya, where the case to be tried, or mismong korte, aha nga korte nato siya i-file o aha pod siya i-tried or i-undergo ang mga trials. Then bail, we're done with that. Judgment, of course, judgment, we are talking about ang pinaka-last na ni nga steps in the court, wherein you can determine, or the accused party will receive judgment whether he is guilty or not guilty. Okay, arraignment is different because in arraignment pangutanon man ka sa judge nga do you plead guilty or not guilty. So pangutanon ka. Then it's up to you what are you going to answer. It could be not guilty or not guilty. But here in judgment, you are no longer asked questions. But then again, this would be the conclusions given by the judge nga tagaan na ka og judgment whether you are guilty or not guilty. Then if ever you are guilty, then what would be the specific years that you are going to render in the prison. So that is judgment. And if we are going to go to obstruction, court is the government body official. Or as you can see, it is the government body officially assembled under authority of law. Mao ni siya ang body. It is because naa siya sa third, di ba? Sa tunga siya. Natay 5 ka pillar naa siya sa tunga. Law enforcement, prosecution, and the court. Now, naa siya sa tunga. Meaning to say, naa siya in the middle, naa siya sa body. So, siya ang naay dako po ni siya rule wherein he or she can or the judges can determine o ilhag i-evaluate tanan-tanang evidence nga gi-present sa ilaha, and then sila ilahang discretion or the decision must made in the court whether this person is guilty or not guilty. Then duties of the court to protect the rights of the accused, to determine by all available legal means whether a person is guilty of a crime as charged, to dispose property of those convicted of crimes, to protect society, and to prevent and reduce criminal behavior. As you can see, the duties of the court, wala kay siya na-emphasize nga in favor siya sa victim. Actually, ang korte is no bias. It should have, wala siya dapat bias. Fair dapat ang naan nila. So, ang ilang unang is to protect the rights of the accused, because in accusing something, dapat yun na siya saktong ebidensya. Kay there are a lot of instances wherein people already convicted to the crime he did not committed or wala niya gi-commit nga crime. So that is why there is a failure on the part of the court. Failure on the first to third pillar. Kay sila may mo determine ana kung tinuod ba dyan siya nga tinuod ba dyan siya nga nagpatay. So si law enforcement, si prosecution o si court, sila man ang mo identify ana. So there would be a failure of first to third pillar. So that would be the duties of the court. Then we have here the judicial power. The judicial power shall be vested in Supreme Court and in such lower courts as may be established by law. Includes the duty of the Court of Justice to settle actual controversies involving rights which are legally demandable and enforceable, and to determine whether there has been a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or exist in jurisdiction and in any branch and instrumentalities of the government. So, scope of judicial power. So, natay adjudicatory power, the traditional function of the court, settling of actual controversies, power of judicial review, power to review the constitutionality of the government acts of laws, then incidental power, contempt power. So, those are the scope of judicial power. Here, regular courts created under Building 129. Okay, the Court of Appeals. Okay, the Court of Appeals, Regional Trial Court, Municipal Trial Court, MCTC, Manakiguanganina, Municipal Circuit Trial Court, and Metropolitan Trial Court. So, ingon ani ni siya. If the jurisdiction is in Tangub City, so natay RTC. So if you file your case in RTC and you're not convinced, gitagaan na kag judgment diri, guilty mo ang judgment. So kung ikaw nga accused is you're not convinced of the judgment in RTC, pwede ka mo apila, kanang gitawag nato appeal. So you are going to make an appeal in the courts of appeal. So i-review na pud na ang imuhang kaso diri sa courts of appeal. Now, ang result is guilty jud. So you are not convinced again that you are guilty. So dito na pud ta mo apila sa Supreme Court. Okay, Supreme Court. And Supreme Court is the highest court in the Philippines. Highest court in the Philippines. So, kaning si Supreme Court mauna ni ang pinaka-highest court in the Philippines. So, whatever the judgment here, kung guilty jud ka, so guilty na jud ka, wala na kay apilan palain. Kay mauna ni highest court si Supreme Court. Okay? So courts of appeal na ataan na regional trial court. Ma'am, saan mo na mapagkahibalo nga dito na mo ipasaka ang kaso. Okay? Ingunanin ni siya. Ang atong rural transit is from Molave. Wala lang tay putol-putol, no? So i-assume na to nga ang rural magdagan paingon sa Molave to Osamis. Okay. Asa man ang jurisdiction ani venue, ma'am? This would be the question. Asa ang jurisdiction and venue nga nahitabo man na siya inside the bus. Diri inside the bus. So dunay pangluba inside the bus. Naakadapit sa recall this, naakadapit sa tawag ani dool na sa Osamis, so, pero wala pa sa terminal. Okay, dool na sa Osamis pero wala pa sa terminal. Ang maong mga sakay is gikan og Molave to Osamis. Now, ang pagpanghitabong pagluba is pagsakay nila aning rural nga paingon sa Molave o sa Osamis. Now, ahaman ang proper venue or proper jurisdiction nga mo kinsa mga police or investigator nga pwede mo conduct og investigation ug aha na mo i-file ang among case. Now, how are you going to do that? In Molave, that is the departure. Okay? Departure and arrival. Okay? Departure and arrival. First thing that you are going to determine is the departure and arrival. And of course, in Molave na sila are MTC. In Osamis na sila RTC. But of course, in the middle of this, in Tangub City na ay RTC. Pwede ka mo pili. Aha ka, Molave ba ka, Tangub ba ka, or Osamis ba ka? So that is how are we going to determine the venue and jurisdiction in filing the case. So first thing that we're going to determine is the departure, arrival. Ma'am, nganong apil man si Tangub? Because ang inyuhang rural moagi og Tangub. Still apil siya. So it could be in Molave, Tangub, or in Osamis. Pero kung sa arrival ninyo is butang ta lang sa Osamis, walay RTC, sa Tangub walay RTC, so automatically you are going to file the case in Molave. That is just for an example. But in reality, we have Molave, Tangub, and Osamis. So that would be the proper jurisdiction and venue for the case. Okay? So we have here the Sandigan Bayan, which is constitutionally mandated under Section 4, Article 11, 1987 Constitution. So here in Sandigan Bayan, special courts. These are special courts. We have Court of Tax Appeals, so katong mga taxes nga na mga wala nang gibayad o mga taxes, o mga dagko kayong mga establishments, diri na sila i-try. Then sa Sandigan Bayan, these are the court for the graft and corrupt practices kanang mga politiko or not only politics but those persons involved in the government nga nangurakot, so diri na sila i-tried. Sharia courts, that is for Muslim, and quasi-judicial agencies which by virtue of the nature of their mandates and considering their expertise in their own respective fields, they have given quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial powers by law and prevailing jurisprudence in accordance with the principle of delegation practice in executive branch of the government. So jurisdiction is the authority or power to hear, try, decide a case. So moto kung gingon ganina nga ako ang gi-example. So pwede ka sa MTC, pwede ka sa RTC. But always remember that MTC or Municipal Trial Court under RA number 7691 has exclusive original jurisdiction over offense punishable with imprisonment not exceeding 6 years, regardless or respectable to fine. Okay. How are you going to define nga pwede ka mo file sa MTC? Naapod na siya'y timanan nga dili siya mo lapas sa 6 years. Then according to this law also, the jurisdiction of the MTC for offense not exceeding 4 years and 2 months and a fine of 4,000 pesos. So in MTC dili siya mulapas, not exceeding, so dili siya mulapas sa 6 years. And how are you going to determine that one? Is that ang case, for example, you are going to file a case. So of course, there would be the minimum, maximum, and medium penalty, and of course, we have the penalty of entirety. So it depends on that. Only the judge and the people, the police officer itself knows what would be the years of punishment. So now here in MTC, dili mula pa sa 6 years ang punishment o dili po siya muubos sa 4 years and 2 months. And na siya'y fine of 4,000 pesos. So it stands now all criminal cases where the penalty is higher than 6 years imprisonment except those falling with Sandigan Bayan are within the jurisdiction of the RTC. So yun na siya. Inanion na siya. Okay, we're going to erase this. Okay, how are we going to know, ma'am, kung sa MTC o sa RTC? Okay, sa MTC, okay, MTC, not exceeding, okay, not exceeding 6 years. Buot pa sa ana, kanang penalty nga dili mo lapas sa unom ka tuig. Penalty nga dili. For example, oral defamation. Oral defamation is around to 3 to 5 years. Okay, 3 to 5 years. So pwede siya sa MTC. How about sa RTC, ma'am? Si RTC is we're going to identify if more than or mula 6 years above. Okay, anak? More than 6 years. Okay, more than 6 years. For example, mga criminal case. Okay, criminal case such as murder. Okay, ang murder is higher penalty, pinaka-higher ani is reclusion perpetua, which is 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. So 20 years, pinaka-highest. So diri na siya sa RTC. Now, if we are going to apply this in a scenario, so for example, ganina is ang atong giingon is kuan man. Ang atong giingon is patay. So there in Molave, pwede na nila i-file dito sa Pagadian. Okay, mao man ang regional trial court. But here in Tangub, automatically diri ra po sa Tangub kay RTC man ang naa-diri. So dili man siya MTC. So in filing the case, you're going to determine pila day ang punishment ani o aha na to siya i-file. Lantawon ninyo ang arrival o departure kung naglarga. Then you're going to identify whether the court is RTC or MTC. Okay, so that's it. Next is in cases where the only penalty provided by law is a fine, the MTC has exclusive original jurisdiction over the offense, punishable with a fine not exceeding 4,000. The MTC has also exclusive original jurisdiction over all violations of city or municipal ordinances committed with its respective territorial jurisdiction. So MTC also has a special jurisdiction to hear and decides petition of writ of habeas corpus or application for bail and province of city where the RTC judges are absent. In addition, the following cases should also be filed with the MTC. Offense with, okay, so those are cases belong to MTC. So always remember, but below 6 years, automatically MTC na siya. Kinds of jurisdiction, we have general, limited, concurrent, and exclusive. Napadi ay original, appellate, administrative, criminal, and civil. So tanan pwede. Okay, tanan pwede. Arraignment and plea. So this one, arraignment and plea, Rule 116, Rules of Court. You are going to, ang arraignment, as I've said, the judge will ask you if you are guilty or not guilty. Then motion to quash is motion to dismiss in civil cases. When we say civil cases, those are katong fines or involve on money nga barya nimo ang mga damages. Then pre-trial is mandatory in criminal cases. The court shall order a pre-trial conference after arraignment and within 30 days from the date the court acquires jurisdiction over the person of the accused. So 30 days. Gi-arraignment ka karon, so mag-ihap ka of 30 days dyan. That would be your pre-trial. Pre-trial pa na ha. Then next is the trial. There shall commence within 30 days from receipt of pre-trial. So can you see the interval? Can you see the interval? Gikan sa arraignment and i-pre-trial ka 30 pa kaadlaw. So usa ka bulan. Dayon pag man na pag pre-trial, usa na pud ka bulan. So, 2 ka bulan na. So, pwedeng dugaya kay tungod sa inaning mga sistema. Once the trial is commenced, the same shall continue from day to day as far as practicable until terminated. So, in case shall entire trial period exceed 180 days from the first day of trial, except as otherwise authorized by the Supreme Court. Note, please see Section 9, Rule 119, Rules of Court, Order Trial. The order of trial may be modified, and so instead of the prosecution presenting first its evidence, the accused may allowed to present evidence ahead of the prosecution. When the accused admits the act or omission charged in the complaint of information but interpose a lawful defense. So, meaning to say that you are going to present evidences ahead of the prosecution. So sa prosecution pa lang daan, you're going to present evidences. So, muna siya. Then, judgment. So, as I've said, judgment is the adjudication of the court that the accused is guilty of the offense charged. So, katuning, ingno na ka sa judge nga guilty or not guilty. So, it must be written in the official language, personally and directly prepared by the judge and signed by him, and shall contain clearly and distinctly a statement of the facts and the law upon which it is based. Judgment becomes final and executory after 15 days from notice of judgment. So that is the process in the court. Remedies, we have motion for new trial, motion for reconsideration, appeal. So mao ni akong giingon ganina nga moapila ka, so moapil ka, gikan ka sa RTC or gikan ka sa MTC, moapil ka dito sa Court of Appeals. Then right after Court of Appeals, dito na ka sa Supreme Court. So whatever the judgment in the Supreme Court would be final, because Supreme Court is the highest court in the Philippines. Okay? Supreme Court, it shall be composed of Chief Justice and 14 Associate Justice, and may sit either in bank or its discretion. In division of 3 to 5 or 7 members, any vacancy shall be filled within 90 days from occurrence. So, the Court of Appeals, it shall be composed of presiding justice and 50 associate justice who shall be appointed by the President of the Philippines. Then regional trial courts, there are 13 regional trial courts, one for each judicial region. So the so-called inferior court shall be created in metropolitan or MTC, in which other cities or municipalities, and municipal circuit trial court in each circuit comprising such cities or municipalities are grouped together. So this one, si MCTC akong gingon ganina, that's si Josefina, Mahayag, Dumingag, na ipon na siya tanan sa Molave. Then, Sandigan Bayan, this is the special courts, exclusively those involved on graft and corrupt practices or graft and corruption, especially ang ato ang mga politikong mga namangurakot. Then, MTCT, MCTC, MTC, okay? So, you read this one. Rule of the court. Yeah, read this one. Court's function. This one, court's function. Keeping peace. So, this is their number one function. That they are going to keep peace. The primary functions of any court system in any nation to help keep domestic peace is obvious that is very rarely considered or mentioned. So, naagyo na dira nila ang keeping peace because the judgment is there. Ang judgment na asa court. Then, deciding controversies, administrative rules. So, that would be the functions of courts. So, guys, if you are going to ask any questions, then we are going to have a schedule for our virtual Q&A as well as the oral recitation in our MS Teams. So, and also our quizzes will be done in our MS Teams. So, make sure that you watch this video so that you can answer the questions that may ask to you. So, thank you so much. So, that would be all for our court. So, next would be the correction. Then right after correction is the community. Then right after community, we are done with our CGS. So thank you so much and God bless us all.